She traded her tiara for a crown. Demi-Leigh Tebow is more than a former Miss Universe. As she explains in her new devotional, she knows her true identity because she knows who God is.
A former Miss Universe, Demi-Leigh Tebow is even better known as Mrs. Tem Tebow. She's also a speaker, best-selling author, humanitarian, and recently became a mother. Though she loves her role as wife and mom, Demi-Leigh believes that we all struggle to know who we really are. In a new devotional for women, Knowing Who You Are Because of Who God Is, Demi-Leigh says we can trade insecurity for a God-given identity.
Demi Tebow joins us now via Zoom. Demi, welcome to the 700 Club.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me, and happy Friday, everyone.
Indeed. You have had a really special year this past year, welcoming your daughter Daphne to your family. How has becoming a mom shaped your life and changed some of your perspective on things?
Oh man, it has just been the biggest and best blessing. That little tiny human being that just brings so much joy, even through all the sleepless nights. And let me tell you, Terry, nobody warned me about all the baby laundry. That was a big surprise. But you know, on a serious note, I think she's already in just the last couple of weeks taught me how to really slow down and to be fully present. I think somebody that's, you know, always on the go and busy and trying to fill my plate with probably too many things, she's really taught me to just slow down and be present, and especially being present in the presence of God more often than I think I've really ever been before.
Yet I think it's so much more significant when you're raising a little human being, as you said. In your book, you mentioned that 85% of people struggle with low self-esteem, and I think women are so used to comparing themselves to others. Sometimes we do it without even realizing we're doing that. How are you going to keep Daphne from experiencing that trap?
You know, I actually dedicated this devotional to her. I finished writing it while she was still in my belly. And a prayer that Tim and I have had over her life is, and actually her middle name reflects that, Reign, is that she will truly be able to rule and to reign, not in power, but in the purpose that God has for her life. And I think as women especially, it is so easy for us to hold on to the labels, the false promises, that society and this world wants to put on us. But you know, Terry, as believers, when we root our identity in who God is, that teaches us more about who we are. And I truly believe that that can change everything. You see, I think it makes our purpose more clear, it makes our identity secure, and it also makes our faith unbreakable.
What are some of the labels that society, that life tries to slap on us and stick?
I know, isn't there so many? You know, I know just from my own personal experience, there's been so many times where, you know, when I maybe haven't reached that achievement or that goal, where I felt like a failure, where I felt like I wasn't good enough, where I felt like I needed to have achievements, prizes, you know, promotions in order to have a great identity, a secure identity. But the truth is, you know, when we root our identity in that one specific thing, whether that's that corner office or that, you know, amazing retirement package, or even something amazing like being a mom or a wife, you know, or even a husband, it doesn't allow us to leave room for our ultimate identity as God's beloved. And that's something that I know I've been working through, is not focusing on things that are ever changing, which is ultimately our life circumstances, but to focus and root my identity in the things and the one specific person that is forever secure and never changing.
I've been reading in my own devotion time recently about the importance of community, of having places where we can be refreshed with people who accept us for who we are, family, friendships, church. Has that taken on new meaning for you as a new mom?
Goodness, yes. I think if there's ever been a time in my life where I have not been scared to ask for help, I think it's been becoming a new mom. I just, Daphne's going through kind of a little bit of a sleep regression at the moment, and it feels like we're all the way back to the newborn phase. So if you see the little circles under my eyes, that's definitely it. But, yesterday I just thought to myself, you know what? I have amazing moms, amazing friends in my trusted circle, in my friend group. And that's one of the great things about being a Christian is God created us to be a part of community, not to live life alone. And I think there's so much freedom in that. And just to know that, I could pick up the phone and ask for advice, ask for help. Hey, how did you handle this? What should I do here? You don't have to sit in that alone. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things about our faith is that we were created to be a part of community and be a part of the body of Christ.
Talk a little bit, Demi, if you would, about the difference between fitting in and actually belonging.
Oh, yeah, that's one of my favorite things. Fitting in, I believe, is rooted in fear. The fear of not being enough, the fear of, wanting to be a part of a group or looking a certain way. But belonging, on the other hand, is rooted in love. And I believe that's truly how God sees us. We don't have to fit in with him because we already belong with him.
You're in a very public position in your own right, and also as Tim's wife. And, the public is not always kind about its assessments. When people look to point out imperfections in you, how do you handle that? Because sometimes that lands on ourselves, and then we start judging ourselves about that.
And I think sometimes we are our own worst critics, right? And we can be so hard on ourselves and really look to that one specific pain point. Or I know sometimes I see a comment or, something that somebody said, and it's the one negative thing that always stands out, and you somehow miss all the other good things and compliments that were given to you. I think something that's been really helpful for me is to listen to the people that really care about me, that have my best interest, that want the best for me, that truly know me, instead of listening to a stranger who truly doesn't know me, doesn't necessarily have my best interest. And I read a quote one day saying that, we don't always get to choose to speak about us, but we do get to choose, and we do get to control to a big extent who we allow to speak into our lives. And I think that's something that Tim and I have been so focused on, is making sure that we very delicately choose the circle of people that we put around us, that we allow to actually speak into our life, that we seek to gain wisdom from.
That is wisdom. You've written a devotional, and the devotional is full of wonderful wisdom, wise counsel. What do you want the takeaway for people who read the book to be?
I really hope that every reader walks away knowing that no amount of prizes or accolades will ever make their identity feel secure, that they don't have to strive to have that secure identity, but that they already have that secure identity in who God says they are. And, knowing who we are because of who God is, knowing the promises that God has for each and every one of our lives, truly, I believe, changes everything. It makes our identity secure. It makes our purpose so much more clear. And I believe that it can make our faith be unbreakable.
I agree wholeheartedly. And it's a wonderful devotional. I want to say to people who are looking for good devotionals to help you in your quiet time, Demi will help you embrace your true identity in her new book. It's a 100-day devotional called Knowing Who You Are Because of Who God Is, and it's available wherever books are sold. Demi, thanks for being with us today. It's great to see you.
Likewise. Have a great day, everyone.